Hello everybody, it's Keegan here. I'm back with another video for you guys, and it's time for another collection video. And today we're going to be doing a collection video on all the Scream Factory Blu-rays and 4K Blu-rays that I own. So last week I did a poll on my community tabs asking you guys whether I should do my Criterion collection and Scream Factory Blu-ray collection next. And the Criterion collection got the most votes, so I did that video last Sunday. And today we're finally going to be doing my Scream Factory Blu-ray and 4K Blu-ray collection. Now, I've been collecting these since 2017. However, I didn't frequently start collecting them until I'd say probably in 2021 or maybe 2022. I don't know, I've been collecting these for quite a while. Now, I have a total of 38 Scream Factory Blu-rays and 4K Blu-rays. Well, 36 of them are Blu-rays and 2 of them are 4K Blu-rays. Now, I do have one box set which has 12 movies, so if you count each individual case from that box set, I technically have 50, but we're just going to say I have 38. Now, this is going to be a pretty long video. I got a lot to go through, and I'm not going to say too much about each movie because that would take too long, and I'm not going to show off the discs and stuff like that because that'll just take too long like I did for my Criterion collection video that I did. So anyways, as always, I'll be showing all the movies in order, in alphabetical order from numbers to letters A to Z, and that pretty much sums it up. So anyways, let's not waste any more time, and let's get started. Alright, so this time we're actually going to start off with the only box set that I own, and that is the Friday the 13th collection, the deluxe edition. A really, really great box set. I love this box set. It's one of my favorites that I have. I pre-ordered this one when it came out back in 2020, and I got it in the mail. It's a really great box set. You get all the Friday the 13th movies from the original all the way down to the remake. I'm kind of ashamed to admit this, but I still have I've only watched the first 3 and a little bit of the 6th movie on TV a long time ago, but I haven't watched the rest of these, and I've had this box set for a long time. I know, I'll definitely give the other movies a watch at some point, but I've only seen the first 3. Anyway, so starting up, we got the original Friday the 13th. This comes with both the R-rated and the unrated version. Very good movie. One of Kevin Bacon's first movies he was in, and I believe that was actually his first movie he was in. I can't remember, though. Here's Friday the 13th Part 2. Fun movie. Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D, the one when Jason finally gets his hockey mask. In the second movie, he had a potato sack over his head, and he was only in the first movie in flashbacks, and at the end of the movie, it was actually his mom killing the counselors. You could also watch this movie on 3D, but you need a Blu-ray 3D player and a 3D TV. Those have been discontinued a long time ago. I don't have either one of those, but that's okay. I'll just watch it in 2D anyways. I don't really care much for 3D, to be honest. Here's Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter. Well, not the final chapter. I know a lot of people regard this one as the best one in the series, depending on who you ask. I don't know. I should definitely sit down and give these ones a watch. I know this one's got Crispin Glover and Corey Feldman in it. I think it was Corey Feldman. Can't remember. Here's Part 5, A New Beginning, aka the one where Jason's not even in the movie. It's just some guy pretending to be Jason. I know it's regarded as the worst, or one of the worst ones in the series, but a lot of people say it's entertaining too. But I'm just going to take those people's words for it. Here's Part 6, Jason Lives. I've seen a little bit of this one on TV a long time ago, and I remember this one being pretty fun, but I never finished it. All I remember is the part where this guy is swinging a machete around, and then Jason comes up behind him, rips his arm off, and he throws his body at a tree, and he looks down, and the arm is still attached to the machete. That's pretty funny. Here's Part 7, The New Blood, or as what some people call it, Jason versus Carrie, because there's a girl in the movie that can move stuff with her mind, similar in the movie Carrie. Yeah. Here's part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, also known as the last one that was produced by Paramount before they sold the rights to New Line Cinema, or Warner Brothers, even though they co-produced the remake. Yep. Here's Jason Goes to Hell, which comes with the R-rated version and the unrated version. I know a lot of people say it's a pretty weird one. I still haven't seen it yet. Here's Jason X, also known as Friday the 13th in Outer Space. Well, I'm sure you get the idea. I know that David Cronenberg actually has a cameo in the movie, which is pretty interesting. Here's Freddy vs. Jason, the last one of the main series. It's also a Nightmare on Elm Street movie because it's got Freddy Krueger in it, of course. It's from the same director of Bride of Chucky, Ronnie Yu. And lastly, the 2009 remake. I know they've made plans to do a sequel for it, but I believe they scrapped that plans for a sequel a long time ago. That's a shame. It also comes with 2 bonus material discs and a booklet. And I'm going to put these back in the box, so just give me 1 minute. So that's the Friday the 13th box set. Really great box set. I hope one day they put out a box set like that for the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I don't know if they will, but that would be pretty cool if they did. Anyways, on to the general stuff that I have. From numbers to letters B to T. So, yep. The first one we got here is 8mm from 1999, starring Nicolas Cage, Joaquin Phoenix, and the late James Gandolfini. Not really a horror movie, but more of a thriller movie. It's from the same screenwriter as Seven, Andrew Kevin Walker, and it was directed by the late Joel Schumacher. This is a great thriller. I really enjoyed this one. Basically, you got Nick Cage playing as this private detective who was hired to investigate the origins of a 8mm film that may or may not be a real snuff film. It's a pretty dark movie, but I really enjoyed this one. I do recommend it if you haven't seen it. Great movie. Rest in peace, James Gandolfini and Joel Schumacher. I do know there's a sequel that came out on DVD. It was a straight-to-video sequel. I'm in no rush to checking it out, though. I hear it sucks, though. Next up is The Babadook, which is an Australian film from 2014. Haven't seen this one yet. I do want to check it out. I've had this Blu-ray for a while, but just haven't gotten around to checking it out yet. I hear it's a pretty creepy movie, though, so it might be good. Next up is Body Parts from 1991. This one's pretty good. I got this one a little while ago, and I watched it not long after I got it. It's a pretty good movie. You basically got this guy who loses his arm in an accident and gets a new one grafted onto his arm as part of an experiment. And then it all seems fine at first, and then the arm starts acting out violently. Like, he starts hitting his wife and kids, but he doesn't mean to do it. And then he later finds out that the arm originally belonged to a serial killer who was executed. But it's not very scary. It's more of a thriller, but I actually really enjoyed this one. Kind of reminds me of another movie that I have in my collection that you'll see later on in this video. But not a great movie or anything, but I still thought this one was pretty good. Sorry, I can't really talk right now. Next up is Bones from 2001, starring Snoop Dogg, and it also has Pam Grier in it, surprisingly. This one, it was okay. It's not a great movie, but I thought this one was decent. Basically, you got these kids who open up a nightclub in an abandoned building that was originally owned by Snoop Dogg's character, who was murdered in the 70s. And then he comes back from the dead to take revenge on the people who killed him and kill anyone in his sight. Not very scary, and it is fairly gory, but my only issue is that a lot of the CGI in this, a lot of the CGI blood in this movie looks kind of shitty. Well, this was 2001, of course, but not the best movie in the world, but it was all right. Has a pretty good soundtrack, though, I'll say that. Next up, John Carpenter's Big Trouble in Little China, and spoiler alert, not the only John Carpenter movie you'll see in this video. Watched this one for the first time not too long ago, and I actually really enjoyed this one. This movie was funny. Not a horror movie, more of an action comedy, but this one was really fun. One of my favorites from John Carpenter. Here's another funny one, Bubba Hotep from 2002, starring Bruce Campbell and Ossie Davis. This one was really funny. I really enjoyed this one. You basically got Elvis Presley played by Bruce Campbell, and you got Ossie Davis playing as a guy who thinks he's JFK, who take on this mummy or something that has like a curse or something, slowly killing the elderly people in this retirement home. So they team up trying to stop it. And I actually enjoyed this one. This one was really funny. Recommend that one if you haven't seen it. Next up is Candyman, the original, and Candyman Farewell to the Flesh. This is the Blu-ray, by the way. I know this one got a 4K release a while ago. Don't know if I'll get it, but we'll see. I love the first Candyman movie. It's one of my favorite horror movies. It's really good. It's really creepy. Not incredibly gory, but it does have its moments, especially the scene with the bees coming out of his mouth. That part was creepy. I haven't watched Candyman Farewell to the Flesh yet. I've had this Blu-ray for over a year, but just haven't gotten around to watching it. But I'll definitely check this one out at some point and see if it's good. I know there's a third Candyman movie called Candyman 3 Day of the Dead, although I hear that movie is terrible, so I'm not in a big rush to seeing it. And I'm also not really in a big rush to watching the 2021 film anytime soon. Next up, Child's Play. The first one, I don't have the sequels or the remake, but I might get those eventually. I know the sequels and the remake both got Scream Factory releases, but I think they might only be 4K releases. I'm not sure though. It's a good movie. It's pretty creepy, and Brad Dourif does a good job doing the voice of Chucky. I have seen Bride of Chucky once a long time ago. I remember enjoying that one. I'll definitely get that one at some point. And the other sequels. Next up, Creepshow, the first one. This is the original Blu-ray release. I know this one got a 4K release a while ago, but the 4K is not released in this big, not really big, but in this box release. Really cool release. Haven't watched it yet, but I do want to check it out. And I know the sequels got a Scream Factory release, and I think the third one does have a Scream Factory release. I can't remember. I heard the third movie's not very good, though, so I'm not in a big rush to watching that one. Next up, Day of the Dead, the original. Fun zombie movie. Not as good as Dawn of the Dead, but still pretty fun. I don't plan on checking out the remake anytime soon, though. The next two are David Cronenberg movies. Here's Dead Ringers from 1988. And The Dead Zone from 1983, which actually came out the same year as Videodrome. And this one's a Stephen King adaptation. Dead Ringers, not a horror movie at all. More of a drama film, I'd say. But I really enjoyed this one. Jeremy Irons is really good in this one, playing two twin doctors that are both gynecologists. One of them falls in love with a woman, and the other one, the one who falls in love is a very shy person, and his brother is really good with the ladies. And I don't really want to give away too much, but I actually really enjoyed this one. And I know there was actually an Amazon Prime series of it, a mini series of it. I watched that one last year. I thought that one was pretty good. Not a lot of people seem to be talking about the Amazon Prime series, but I actually enjoyed that one. Rachel Weisz was really good in that one. The Dead Zone, great movie. Not much to say about this one. It's a classic, and the novel is based on it's great too. The ice is going to break. Yeah, great movie. And Christopher Walken's really good in that movie too. Next up, Dog Soldiers, from the director of The Descent, which I have on Blu-ray. Pretty good werewolf movie. You got these SAS recruits that are battling against werewolves that are attacking them. Yeah, this one was pretty good. I like that one. Next up, Dr. Giggles. I watched this one a while ago. I really enjoyed this one. It's pretty, not incredibly gory, but fairly gory. But I actually thought this one was really funny. But yeah, really fun movie. I enjoyed that one. Next up is the only steelbook that I own, and also the very first Scream Factory Blu-ray I ever bought, and it's another John Carpenter movie, and that is Escape from New York. I've only seen this movie once a couple years ago when I got it. Haven't seen it since then, but I remember really enjoying this one. I should definitely sit down and give this one a rewatch at some point. And I really like the soundtrack in it too, especially the theme song. The theme song's really catchy in that movie. And I know there's a sequel to that one called Escape from LA, but I hear that one's not as good, but I'll probably check that one out one day. Next up is The Exorcist 2, The Heretic, and The Exorcist 3. Let's start with The Exorcist 2. I do have the original Exorcist on Blu-ray, and I have the beginning and Dominion, the prequel to The Exorcist, on DVD. I don't have Believer, and I'm not in a big rush to getting it because that movie was a piece of shit. I didn't mind Exorcist 2. Like, I mean, it's obviously nowhere near as good as the original, but I didn't think it was that bad, honestly. But it's mediocre at best. That's all I'll say about this one. Yeah, not much to say about this one. It was all right. Exorcist 3, on the other hand, I actually thought this one was a great third movie. It actually comes with two versions. It comes with the director's cut and theatrical cut. Hold on. That's the theatrical cut, and here's the director's cut. I've only seen the theatrical cut. I haven't watched the director's cut version yet. But yeah, I really enjoyed Exorcist 3. I thought this one was great. Just watch the original Exorcist and The Exorcist 3. Those are the only ones that really matter. I haven't seen the prequels yet, but I don't expect them to be any good. But yeah. Next up, Ghost Ship. I really enjoyed this one. Like, it's not a great or amazing movie or anything, but I enjoyed this one for what it was. Especially the opening scene. I think everybody knows about the opening scene with the wire flying through and cutting everyone into pieces and killing everyone. But I enjoyed this one for what it was. Surprisingly, it's got Gabriel Byrne in this one. But not much to say about this one. I actually enjoyed that one. It's kind of a guilty pleasure. The next one we got here is The Hand from 1981. This is one of Oliver Stone's first movies. I actually got this one for my birthday about a month ago, and I watched it recently. Not a great movie, but I enjoyed this one for what it was. As I was going to say, it reminds me a little bit of Body Parts a little bit. Only in this one, you got a severed hand going around killing people. And you got Michael Caine going insane. But Michael Caine was good in this one. He was pretty creepy in this movie, too. But not a great movie, but I enjoyed this one for what it was. I'm actually surprised Oliver Stone directed that movie, too. Next up, we got The Human Centipede, the complete sequence. This is out of print. You get Human Centipede 2, full sequence, and Human Centipede 3. To be honest, I actually didn't mind the first movie for what it was. Like, I mean, sure, it was kind of gross. Specifically, one scene in the movie that I won't go into detail was kind of nasty. But I actually didn't mind the first movie for what it was. The second one is a pretty messed up movie. I didn't necessarily like that one, but yeah, don't really want to say much about that one. And the third one was more of a comedy, but it was terrible. Like, it was just really not funny at all. Like, I don't know, just the third one was just a piece of trash. But the first one, I'd say, is the only good one worth watching, in my opinion, at least. But this Blu-ray has since gone out of print, and it's kind of hard to find. So, yeah. It's not the only out of print one you'll see in this video. Next up is Idle Hands. More of a comedy. Well, it's a horror comedy with Devon Sawa, a young Seth Green, and Jessica Alba. I believe this was Jessica Alba's first movie she was in. I can't remember. I enjoyed this one. This movie was funny. It's really fun. I think this movie would make an interesting triple feature with Body Parts and The Hand. But yeah, really funny movie. I recommend this one. And I really like the soundtrack in this movie too. It's got music from like The Offspring and a Rob Zombie, I think, if I remember correctly, and a few other people. But yeah, really funny movie. I recommend that one. Next up is another John Carpenter movie, In the Mouth of Madness. Watched this one for the first time a while ago, well, earlier this year. I really enjoyed this one. Sam Neill's really good in this one. He's kind of creepy in this movie too. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Especially the famous scene when he goes to the movie theater sitting all by himself, like at the very end of the movie. I don't want to spoil it, but that scene kind of turned into a meme. But if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Next up is one of the 2 4Ks that I own, and that is Krampus. This is the naughty cut. It comes with the theatrical and naughty cut version. Or wait, I think it's only the naughty cut. Yeah, it's only the naughty cut. It doesn't come with the theatrical cut. I watched this one back in December for the first time, and it's a pretty fun movie. I'll probably try to watch this one around Christmas time every year, but we'll see. Yeah, it's a pretty fun movie. Especially the opening montage is pretty funny too. Next up is another Stephen King adaptation, and it's a classic one, Misery. You murdered my misery! Classic movie. Kathy Bates is really good in this one, and James Caan was really good in this movie too. Rest in peace, by the way. But yeah, classic movie. And the novel's really good too. It's one of the best Stephen King adaptations ever made, I'd say. And the next one is one of the only 4Ks that I got. Well, the second and last 4K Blu-ray that I own. That is My Bloody Valentine, the original. Picked this one up a while ago. Still haven't watched it. I know this was actually a Canadian movie, actually, which is pretty surprising. But again, I picked it up a while ago. Still haven't watched it yet. I'll definitely get around to watching it sometime. I also have the remake on a Blu-ray as well. I've actually seen the remake once a long time ago, and I thought it was decent, but I bet the original is probably better. Anyways, next up is Nosferatu the Vampire from Werner Herzog. This is the 1979 movie. I don't have the original from 1922 and also haven't watched it yet. Much like The Hand, I actually got this one for my birthday about a month ago. Still haven't watched it yet. I should definitely sit down and give this one a watch at some point. And I'm also looking forward to the Robert Eggers film that's coming out on Christmas. I'll definitely try to go see that one. Next up, Nightbreed, the director's cut. I know this one also got a 4K release from Scream Factory earlier this year, and that also comes with the theatrical version. This one only comes with the director's cut. I'll definitely upgrade this to the 4K with the theatrical cut, because some people say the theatrical cut's better, and some people say the director's cut version's better. But yeah, I actually really enjoyed this one. This one was fun. And I'm surprised David Cronenberg got a role in this movie. He's like one of the villains in the movie. But yeah, I enjoyed this one. This one was fun. The next one we got here is the Poughkeepsie tapes. I actually got this one for my birthday last year. This one, it was okay. It wasn't a great movie or anything. It was like a mockumentary or something about a serial killer. It was okay. I didn't really find it all that scary. Like, there were a few parts that were creepy, like the part where the killer was talking to the little girl all by herself. That part was really fucking creepy. But it was alright. I didn't really find it all that disturbing, to be honest, except for that one particular scene. But could have been better in my opinion, but it was alright. Next up is Rabid, the original from 1977 from David Cronenberg, and the 2019 remake from the Soska sisters. The original Rabid's a really fun zombie kind of movie. It's got the late Marilyn Chambers in this movie. I think this is one of the few non-pornographic movies she's acted in, because she was once she used to be a porn star and a singer and an actor, but hey, who says you can't do it all? Fun movie. I actually revisited this one a couple weeks ago, and yeah, it's a really fun movie. The remake, on the other hand, I honestly thought this was a decent remake, but yeah, definitely nowhere near as good as the original, but it was decent, I guess. Personally, if there should be one or two, if anyone should remake a movie from David Cronenberg, I'd say leave it to his kids. Let Brandon Cronenberg or Caitlin Cronenberg direct a remake of one of David Cronenberg's films. But hey, that's just my opinion. But again, Rabbit, it's a decent remake. I would just say stick with the original. Hold on a sec. Sorry about that. I just had to get a drink of water. I was getting a little thirsty. All right, so we only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's only 7 left, and then we'll be done this video. So next up, we got Raw from Julia Ducournau. I have no idea how you pronounce your last name. This is from the same director of T-Tame, which I have on Blu-ray, and this was her debut film from 2016. I really enjoyed this one. This was a great movie. It's a very slow movie. It's pretty gory, pretty weird, and yeah, I really enjoyed this one. This is also a French film too. And I also really enjoyed T-Tame as well, which I actually saw that one first before watching this one. I really enjoyed that one. And I do look forward to the next film that Julia Ducournau is going to be coming out with. I know they announced that she's going to be coming out with a new movie sometime. And I wonder what that one will be like. But yeah, great movie. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed Raw. Let me just push some of these away. The next one we got here is one of my favorite movies of all time, Ravenous. A very, very fun movie. I wouldn't really call this a horror movie. I would say this is more of a horror comedy. It does have some comedy in it, and it's really funny. Great movie. I actually used to have this one on VHS, but I got rid of it a while ago when I picked this Blu-ray up. Good cast. You got Guy Pearce, Robert Carlyle, Jeremy Davies, or however you say his name, The Disgraced, Jeffrey Jones, and David Arquette. Really fun movie. It's a great cannibal movie. Probably one of the best cannibal movies ever made, I'd say. But yeah, this movie is amazing. I highly recommend this one. It's one of my favorites. The next one is another Christmas-themed horror movie. That is Silent Night, Deadly Night. I don't have Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, but I do plan to get that one at some point. And I know the other sequels got Blu-ray releases, but they were released by Vestron / Lionsgate. I'll get those eventually, but I need to get the second one at some point. Excuse me. Really fun horror movie. I find it kind of interesting that this movie was pulled from theaters a week after it came out because parents didn't like the idea of there being a killer Santa. Well, it was actually a guy dressed up as Santa Claus killing people. And interestingly, it was banned in the province of Alberta, which is the province in Canada where I'm from. I actually didn't know that till recently. I guess times were weird back in the 80s, I guess. But what would I know? I was a 2000s kid. But Silent Night, Deadly Night's a fun movie. I gotta get the sequels at some point. Next up is the only Wes Craven movie that I own and have seen. The Serpent and the Rainbow. This one was pretty good. I enjoyed this one. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's got to do with like voodoo, black magic, and all that stuff. And it's got Bill Pullman in it, who is, you might know from the movie Lost Highway. But yeah, it's a fun movie. Next up is another John Carpenter movie, and also the last one you'll see in this video. And actually, it's a classic movie. They Live. I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum. Watched this one for the first time very recently. Awesome movie. I can totally see why it's considered a classic. This might be my favorite John Carpenter movie, but I'm not sure. I can't decide, but this movie was awesome. Next up is another out-of-print title, The Tenant by Roman Polanski. This one actually went out of print fairly recently, but I'm glad I got this one when it was still in print. I actually bought this one on my birthday last year. And this is the third and final film of the Apartments trilogy, which consists of, what was it? Repulsions and Rosemary's Baby, which I have both of those on Criterion. You might have seen those in the Criterion Collection video that I did last week. And it also consists of this movie from 1976. Great thriller. I really enjoyed this one. I think Roman Polanski does some great thriller movies. Like, I mean, sure, he's not a very good person, but at least he can direct, I'll say that. But great thriller. I really enjoyed this one. It's also got Isabella Adjani in this one. But, yeah, great thriller. Not as good as Rosemary's Baby or Repulsions, but still a good one in the trilogy, even though all three movies aren't really connected. And last but not least, Trick or Treat. Watched this one for the first time back in November. I really enjoyed this one. This one was a lot of fun. I believe this was actually originally a straight-to-video movie, but then it got so popular. I think it might have gotten a theatrical release. I'm not exactly sure, but I know this was originally a straight-to-video movie. Awesome movie. I really enjoyed this one. I'm surprised that Brian Cox was in this one too. But yeah, really fun movie. I'll try to watch this one around Halloween time. But awesome movie. And yep, that's that. So there you go. That's my Scream Factory collection. Got a really good amount of movies in my collection of Scream Factory releases. And I'll definitely do an updated version of the collection maybe one day in the future. But, yep, until the next time I update it, that's my collection so far. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like, comment below, subscribe for more videos like this, and turn on notifications and share the video. And comment below, what's your favorite movie that I have in my collection that you've seen in the video? And comment below what are some Scream Factory releases that you recommend that I should add to my collection. That would be greatly appreciated. And yeah, guys, so I hope you guys all have a great day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And yeah, take care, everybody. Peace out. Bye-bye.